Hey, Shalom, Kol Halor, Yahweh Bashim, Yahweh Shai Bashim, Chakodash, the ones who apostles of great millstone, and Shalom to you brothers in the highways and byways, doing the works of sincerely and faithfully and continually fighting that good fight of faith. Lord willing, we're finding that number to be delivered, but until then, we're going to keep putting our hands to the plow. Lord willing, we'll be found worthy to be delivered. All right, so real quick, after reading a couple articles, I came across this article, and I remember it from a while back, but, I started, meditating on it a little bit. And this was when, concerning Yemen, when they had launched some rockets. And this might not even play. I'm in airplane mode, so I don't get no interruptions. But we'll see. Yeah, it's not gonna play. But anyway, there had been, matter of fact, let me get right to the article instead. All right, so the scene was set up where there was a cargo ship that was in distress. All right, and it's going to say it in this article, and it says missiles fired from Yemen towards U.S. warships that responded to attack on a commercial tanker. Okay, so it says CNN, and CNN, we don't really subscribe to CNN because they speak a lot of bullshit, but at the same time, if you use CNN, you also got to go to other news outlets and sources to see, what's what, if you will. So 2 ballistic missiles were fired from Houthi rebel-controlled Yemen towards a U.S. warship in the Gulf of Aden, after the U.S. Navy responded to a distress call from a commercial tanker that had been seized by armed individuals, the U.S. military said Sunday. The tanker, identified as the Central Park, has been carrying a cargo of phosphoric acid when its crew called for help that they were under attack from an unknown entity, the U.S. Central Command said in a statement. Now check this out, right? It says the Pentagon spokesman, Brigadier General Pat Ryder, said Monday that under international maritime norms and laws, when there is a distress signal, all vessels in the vicinity are required to come and help support. Though Ryder added that there were 3 Chinese Navy vessels in the vicinity that did not respond. Okay, so now according to mass maritime law and norms, these Chinese ships should have responded, but they didn't. Okay, so essentially, I look at it like this. They put America in a trick bag and they all set up. All right, they got the drop on them. And it says supposedly those ships are there as part of a counter piracy mission, he said, but they did not respond. The incident comes after Iran-backed Houthi forces launched numerous attacks against U.S. interests in the region and Israel since October 7th Hamas attacks, as fears continue to ripple across the region that Israel-Hamas war could widen. All right, so that's basically the point. Here you have Yemen firing rockets, missiles at United States warships. All right, think about that. In times past, this shit would have been unheard of, man. But not only that, there was no so-called retaliation. Now the article goes to read on, about the people that seized the ship, the pirates, whatever, they captured them. But the point being, the fact that Yemen fired rockets towards the United States warships. Now years ago, that would have been an act of war. All right. So let's just get a little quick look at Yemen. So here's Yemen. It's south of Saudi Arabia, right? And now at the moment, Saudi Arabia and Yemen, they've been at war for the past 9 years with one another. And there's been peace talks going back and forth to try to quarrel that war and that animosity between each other. And I believe it's going to get squashed because all these nations are going to come up against the fight against America. Okay? And even then, Yemen, let me go here and see if we can pick this up. Yemen, it's a big place, but it has a very large military as well. but it's still underdeveloped, as it says here. It says Yemen is one of the least developed countries in the world, facing significant obstacles to sustainable development, is one of the poorest countries in MENA region, right? So Yemen's not that strong as far as, its internal, structure, but it does have the largest military, one of the largest militaries, as it's going to say here. It says the number of military personnel in Yemen is relatively high. In sum, Yemen has the second largest military force on the Arabian Peninsula after Saudi Arabia. Okay, which also makes sense. Once they settle this beef between one another, and they combine forces, shooting rockets at America ain't gonna be no thing. Or I should say, shooting rockets at American interests is not gonna be in no thing, because right now they're over there in Yemen burning American flags, burning the Jewish state flag. That's what they're doing over there. So these men ain't fooling around, man. Real quick, Isaiah 14:10. It's all they shall speak and say unto thee, art thou also become weak as we? Art thou become like unto us? Right, because these nations are now, there's no fear of America anymore. All right? Regardless of what you say about your military and your armed forces, nobody's fearing you right now. And it shows just for the mere fact that these ballistic missiles were shot towards these warships, and you didn't do a damn thing, man. Now, years ago, that would be an act of terror on United States. They would have did something. They would have sent troops over there to Yemen. They would have damn near blew them off the face of the earth. But it's not working like that no more, because the backbone of America is no longer solid. It's no longer strong. And these other nations have just as many troops as any other nation of any other larger nation. All right. This is Joel 3:10. It says, beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say, I am strong. All right. So when it comes to doing shit like this, shooting rockets or, bombarding American interests over in Yemen, in that region, they don't give a damn. They are feeling strong now, because ultimately these other larger nations are going to end up backing them anyway. Because what do we know? We know all the nations are going to come up against America, man. All these nations are going to come up against this place. And this is why the scripture says, let the weak say, I am strong. Okay? Now I wanted to play this video here, but it's not gonna go because I'm in airplane mode. But all that being said, I just wanted to get this quick point out, because the tensions are heating up all over the world, and as each smaller nation puts their throws their hat in the ring, so to say, they're flexing their military might as well. They're showing exactly who they are and what they possess as far as military power. Hold on one second. Let me see if I can play this without getting any interruptions.
Just happened in the Gulf of Aden with this, this freight ship there, an attempted hijacking. The U.S. jumps in to help, and then missiles fired from the Houthis in Yemen. This a sideshow, Spider, or is this the type of thing we could see more in the coming days?
I think we're going to see more of this, John. Clearly, it's like the gloves are off because of the outrage, the international global outrage, when they look at what's taking place in Gaza, irrespective of what the IDF is trying to achieve with Hamas. This has now become a discussion about the brutal handling of the greater Palestinian issue. So Iran has gone back to its proxies, the Houthis being one of those, and saying, fair game, do what you need to do. You've got our support, you certainly have our backing. Iran does not pull the trigger, does not authorize each one of these engagements, but certainly the boundaries between what's appropriate and what's not appropriate in their perspective is wide open now, and that's what you're seeing.
Okay, so all that being said, this thing is about to pop off, man.
The holidays
these smaller
can be
nations.
chaotic. Streaming doesn't have to be.
Oh shit! Hold on one second. Yeah, you hit anything you hit in these damn things, everything starts popping up. But yeah, but this the gist of it. All right, these smaller nations, they're gearing up. They're gonna do what they need to do to send a message. All right, nobody's in fear of America anymore. Nobody's worried about America's military might. As a matter of fact, these people are willing to die, all right, to protect their interests and to show that they're not afraid anymore. Nobody's afraid to die anymore. Nobody's afraid to have a missile hit them, all right? So that was a quick one, Lord willing. I'll see y'all brothers in another show. I say shalom.